Hi everyone, a very warm welcome to all of you to this episode of Mahabharat, Heroes and Their Stories. Sahadev. Sahadev was the youngest of the Pandava brothers, the five principal protagonists of the epic Mahabharata. He and his twin brother Nakul were blessed to King Pandu and Queen Madhuri by invoking the twin gods Ashwinis. Trained by Drone, Kripa, and Brihaspati, Sahadev is described to be skilled in swordsmanship and astrology, and also Niti Shastra. He went on a war campaign to southern part of India to subjugate kingdoms for the Rajsuya sacrifice after crowning his Pandav brother Yudhishthir as the emperor of Indraprastha. He was exiled for 13 years along with his Pandav brothers when Yudhishthir lost all his possessions, his brothers, and their common wife Draupadi to Duryodhan of Kuru kingdom of Hastinapur during a dice game played by Vili Shakuna, the maternal king of Duryodhan. During his 1 year of incognito living as a part of the 13-year exile, he disguised as a cowherd and served in the kingdom of Virat. During the 18 days Kurukshetra war, he slew many warriors, including Shakuni. After the war, Yudhishthir appointed Sahadev as the king of southern Madara. During his final journey of pilgrimage to the Himalayas, he succumbed en route after Draupadi. The word Sahadev is derived from two Sanskrit words, Saha and Dev. Saha means with and Deva is a Hindu term used for deity. So literally, Sahadev means with gods. Another meaning is thousand gods. Sahadev and his brother Nakul are both called as Ashwine, as they were both born from Ashwinis. He was regarded as a very accomplished astrologer, a face reader, and all other forms of intuitive perception. But because of his secretive nature in revealing anything, though full knowing the situation, he is called Sahadev colloquially. Due to Pandu's inability to bear children because of the curse of Rishi Kindama, Madhuri had to use the boon given to Kunti by sage Durvasa to give birth, who invoked the Ashwini Kumars to beget Nakul and Sahadev. Though they were twins, they had altogether different characteristics, physically and mentally. Nakul was born at sunrise, where Sahadev was born at sunset. Sahadev was an occultist and Nakul was an Ayurvedic physician. But both were very valiant in warfare, in archery, and deft use of swords. When Nakul and Sahadev were born, a divine voice proclaimed that these virtuous and accomplished sons will transcend in energy and beauty even their celestial fathers. Sahadev imbibed knowledge of everything of the past and even of future events from Brihaspati. However, none other than Krishna advised him not to tom-tom or boast about the knowledge he had. Sahadev, thus knowing everything but is never able to tell anyone about the secrets. Krishna advised Sahadev to answer each question with a question. Also, he was allowed to reveal the future to those who asked the right questions, but not willfully. Sahadev acquired knowledge of various mystical sciences that helped him to predict future events. Even today, a secretive man who never reveals anything despite having full knowledge of the situation is colloquially referred as Sahadev. When the Pandavas and their mother Kunti were in hiding after the event of Lakshagriha, Arjun won Draupadi's hand in marriage. Sahadev married her along with his brothers and had a son, Shrutsen, who was killed by Ashwasthama in the Kurukshetra war. He also married Vijaya, the daughter of Dyuti Mata of Madara, who bore him one son, Suhotra. Sahadev was sent south by the eldest Pandava, Yudhishthir, to subjugate kingdoms for the Rajsuya sacrifice, after being crowned as the emperor of Indraprastha. He was specifically chosen for the southern campaign because of his expertise with the sword, and because Bhishma opined that southerners are skilled with sword fighting in general. A verse in the scriptures also mentions that Sahadev, before his invasion towards the south of Indraprastha, had forced tribute from Antioch, Rome, and the city of the Greeks. His twin brother Nakul is said to have conquered the Huns along with the Chinese to give tribute to the Rajsuya Yagna. The brothers, including Sahadev, went out in four directions for subjugating other kingdoms and rulers and collected huge bounties which enriched the treasury of Indraprastha kingdom immensely. In the 13th year, Pandavas collectively decided that the Virat kingdom of King Virata would be ideal place for them to hide in disguise. The day after Draupadi's entrance into Virat's palace as Sairandari, an expert maid, in the name of Malini, employed by Queen Sudeshna, Sahadev made his way into the city dressed as a cowherd. He arrived at one cow pasture in the region of Virata's palace. The king happened to be visiting his herd and was present when he saw a handsome, well-built man clad in a cowherd's dress and speaking the dialect of the cowherds. Beholding him, the king was struck with amazement. He asked Sahadev, "To whom do you belong and where do you come from? What work do you seek? I have never seen you before." Sahadev replied, saying he was a Vaishya, Arishtanemi by name, and was earlier in employment of the Kuru king Yudhishthir, the eldest of the five sons of Pandu, and had tended to 800,000 cattle, and that people used to call him Katripal, and Pandavas, however, called him Jayabala, and that he knew the present, the past, and the future of all the cows living within 10 yojans, which is close to 12 to 15 kilometers, or 7.5 to 9.3 miles. He also told the king the means by which kine population or cow population could be manipulated in a short time, and that he liked the work of taming, milking, and breeding cattle. Impressed with the resume narrated by Sahadev, King Virat employed him in his palace as the chief cowherd who supervised the maintenance and upkeep of all cows in his kingdom, while his elder brothers assumed different roles in disguise to work in Virata's court. Before the war of Mahabharat, Duryodhan went to camp of Pandavas near the battleground on the advice of Shakuni and approached Sahadev seeking the right time or the Mahabharat to start the Mahabharata war so that the Kauravas would be victorious. Duryodhan offered to spare the life of Sahadev and his twin after the war and make them kings in exchange and promised them Indraprastha as their kingdom. Sahadev declined his offer, but disclosed the date of the war in spite of knowing that Kauravas were their enemies, as Sahadev was known to be very honest in his profession. Even before the great war, Duryodhan would ask Sahadev about his future, and Sahadev would tell his future. He was the most favorite Pandava of Duryodhan. When King Dhritarashtra asked his devoted advisor Sanjay, who had the gift of seeing events at a distance, or a Divyadrishti right in front of him, about the credentials of Sahadev, Sanjay described Sahadev as a non-demanding, non-egoistic, non-covetous bhakta. As a warrior, Sahadev slew prominent warriors of the enemy side. The flag of Sahadev's chariot bore the image of a silver swan. His conch was called Manipushpika, which he blew in the beginning of the war. The bow which he used in the war was known as Ashwina. He defeated 40 brothers of Duryodhan while fighting them simultaneously. On the 13th day, his advance into the Chakravyuh was stopped and repelled by Jayadratha. On the night of the 14th day, Sahadeva was defeated by Karan, but his life was spared as Karan had made a promise to Kunti that he would only kill Arjuna. During the gambling loss, Sahadeva took an oath of slaying Shakuni. He accomplished this task successfully on the 18th day of battle. While the war was in full swing and Sahadeva was fighting Kripa, he saw Shakuni attacking the Pandava army. His fury reviewed. He first killed Shakuni's son, Ulluk, and then called out Shakuni and challenged him to a fight. Shakuni, in grief on the loss of his son and in great fury, attacked Sahadeva with 3 arrows and also threw a scimitar at him. Sahadeva responded relentlessly and was even hurt. Then, when faced with furious occult powers, Shakuni created illusionary magic tricks played by Shakuni. When Sahadeva was on losing stage, he had no alternative but to call for Krishna, who was steering fight for Arjuna in another front. Krishna then remotely foiled Shakuni's magical strikes. After the war, Yudhishthir appointed Nakul as king of northern and Sahadeva as the king of southern Madura. Suhotra, the son of Sahadeva from his wife Vijaya, would eventually be crowned as their heir to the mother kingdom. Upon the onset of the Kali Yuga and departure of Krishna, the Pandavas retired. Giving up all their belongings and ties, the Pandavas, accompanied by a dog, made their final journey of the pilgrimage to the Himalayas, seeking heaven. Except for Yudhishthir, all the Pandavas grew weak and died before reaching heaven. Sahadev was second one to fall after Draupadi. When Bhim asked Yudhishthir why Sahadev fell, Yudhishthir replied that Sahadev took too much pride in his wisdom. With this, we come to an end to this episode of Mahabharat and its heroes. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, this is your host Madhulika Chauhan signing off. Stay healthy always. Narayan Narayan.